make sure you ain't. There you go. There you go.
What's happening?
All right. So Roland, I gave them a little bit of context about what I was saying.
Right.
And I need you to give them a little context on how you viewed what actually was happening, as opposed to what actually happened.
So here's the deal, folks. The Republicans. So when Jermaine posted the video, he referenced a Republican commentator on CNN who was saying, "Well, she was there. Why couldn't she do this while she was president? Excuse me, while she's vice president?" And so when he and I talked last night, the Republicans, their strategy is to blame her for everything. So their deal is, well, if any of y'all saying you can't hear, it's on your device, y'all. Trust me, everybody else can hear. So if you can't hear, it's on your device. All right. So just letting y'all know. Okay. So here's the deal: the Republicans, J.D. Trump, J.D. Vance, Republican Party, all of them, their strategy, yes, Scott Jennings, is to say, well, if she's announcing these things, why didn't she get this done? Well, and then when Jermaine talked about in his video what she said to him, that's actually true. The vice president serves at the pleasure of the president. The vice president can have their own views. The reality is the president sets the tone. A lot of people have been saying, well, the vice president, she needs to be doing this and saying this. She can't. She has to toe the line of the president. The vice president is not a separate elected position. There are some states in the union where the lieutenant governor runs separately from the governor, and they can take whatever position they want. In Texas is that way. But in Maryland, in Illinois, the lieutenant governor runs with the governor. And so that person has to support the line of the president. What people don't realize is the vice president can't just decide she wants to just, okay, I'm going to go give a speech on gun control in Florida. She can't do that because the White House, his advisors may say, that's not what we're focusing on right now. That's not our strategy. So the vice president is really handicapped in a way where it's really a position where your job is to support the president. And so I think what happened was, I think a lot of people, when you mentioned the Republican guy, they thought you were saying, oh, I'm agreeing with him, why she ain't getting this stuff done. So I think that's what happened.
Yeah, so, and then, like I said, I explained this to him to Ronald yesterday, and it's crazy, these messages and everything that people are saying. So you said they was cooking me or you woke up. And they going crazy. But, you know, one of the things I said to you last night that really shook me crazy was that as many people have so much things to say about me, it's crazy that the Dems that are voices, they're not saying this
right.
The public and you told me.
Right.
And that's the part I want everybody to understand.
Right.
I'm sitting here watching TV, I'm watching CNN. I'm not sitting here saying CNN. I don't do all that. I just watch TV. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching TV. I see people who have an opportunity to say exactly what you said.
Right.
And they not correcting these people that's on TV.
Right. So when I was on CNN for 6 years, black people would say, man, you talk the way we talk. Man, you say what we say in the barbershop. You say what we say at home. So you're right. When you're sitting opposite of Scott Jennings, you got to jump in his ass. You got to say, you got to push back immediately. Otherwise, he is controlling the narrative and he is setting the narrative. And that's really what you're talking about. What you're talking about is you want folks to, because like when we talk, you were like, got it. Like it wasn't that hard because it's also a part of what their strategy is. And so here's the other piece. Now that she's the nominee, so she now actually has two jobs. So she's the nominee, but she's still a vice president. Biden is still president.
This is the part I was saying it was tricky When I said it's tricky
Right.
in my video, this is exactly what I was talking about, people. So he gonna explain to y'all the tricky part, right?
So Vice President Harris, if she has her own view on Israel Gaza, it has to be nuanced because she's still the vice president. The president, there's only one president at one time. The president sets policy. The president sets the agenda. She can't state exactly how she feels or where she will go until she's sworn in. Until she puts that right hand and she raises her left. And so she has to do a dance in terms of what she will do. So what she's saying is, if I'm president, I'll do this. If I'm president, I'll do. No, y'all, I'm not trying. Y'all, listen, I'm not trying to help Jermaine save face. I'm telling y'all, I saw the video, and then when we talked, I said, Jermaine, here's what I think happened that caused people, and he was like, yeah, you're right. I said, like, a couple of things got just sort of, and I said, so I understood it. This ain't no different than when I talked to Stephen A., and he said something, and I think a couple of points sort of got meshed together. So, y'all, we not.
By the way, anybody out there that think I don't have to save face. I asked a question. That's all I did. If you're scared to ask questions in America, you ain't gonna never be nowhere close to me in status. Just understand that.
So the whole point of this is that. So when you talk about it being tricky, it is tricky because listen, I'm gonna go back. Biden and Obama running as Democrats, because of where the country was, they said publicly they were against gay marriage. Truthfully, they actually were for gay marriage. In fact, Obama had signed a pledge when he was a U.S. Senate agreeing with gay marriage. But he knew when he ran for state senator. But he knew when he ran for U.S. senator, he couldn't support gay marriage. So he said, I believe in marriage between a man and a woman. He never believed that. So what happens? He runs for president. He says marriage between a man and a woman. Well, Biden, when he went on Meet the Press, Biden actually came out for gay marriage. Obama didn't approve that. So what happened was, that's a perfect example of where the VP got ahead of the president, and the president was forced to actually come out. But guess what? The polling in America had shifted, and a majority of Americans supported same-sex marriage, so it wasn't no big deal. But it's rare, it is very rare that a vice president will take a position as opposite of the president and not get in trouble. And that's what people don't have to understand. And so the nuance for her is a lot of the people who are supporting Palestinians, and they want her to support an arms embargo. They want her to call for the ceasefire. Well, here's the deal. Biden is trying to negotiate the ceasefire. Biden ain't called for arms embargo. She can't say yes to arms embargo because that's opposite the president. He's still the president of the United States, and he has final say so.
All right. Well, I mean, like I said, I hope this is quick. By the way, people, this ain't a long conversation. He and I spoke last night. We got a clear understanding. I just want to make sure everybody hears what's happening and understand. I am not a Republican.
And look, I was there in Georgia covering Warnock when Jermaine was out there, Portia Williams was out there. We got the video. I covered the rallies, and so out there, and so again, when he said, the vice president told me, hey, it's this, that, and the other. That's what's going on. And so even when y'all heard her speech, she's saying, if I'm president, I'll do these things. But the goal of the Republicans, they want to tag her with any failure. So that's why, and look at the talking points. Scott Jennings, Charlie Kirk, J.D. Vance, Trump, Republican Party, they all are saying the same things. Well, if you do that, then why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? Why don't you do it for the last 3.5 years? I've heard a bunch of black people say, well, why she ain't done this? Why she ain't done that? Because she can't. She's the vice president. And in fact, here's what's crazy. And people don't even understand this. You've seen, to his credit, President Joe Biden has put her out front more than any president I can remember in American history. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all heard what I said. President Biden, in numerous cases, she'll speak, then he'll speak. That rarely happened with Obama and Biden. It didn't happen with Trump and Pence. It didn't happen with Clinton and Gore, Bush and Cheney, Reagan and H.W. Bush and Dan Quayle. It didn't happen. I mean, you can keep going back. It just doesn't happen a lot. So a lot of people, including black people, have had expectations for Vice President Harris that does not go with the job. And some of y'all said, well, they muzzle her. Y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all. Okay, let me just make it real. Jermaine has a company. I got a company. If somebody works for our company, they can't just run out and say, oh yeah, we gonna sign so-and-so to Roland Martin's Black Star Network. We gonna sign so-and-so to Jermaine's company. And Jermaine like, your ass don't talk for the CEO. You are an employee of the CEO. Yeah. It's the same thing. And if they get out of line and they mess up the business, they out of line. So folks don't understand that. So they gotta stop acting like, she can say whatever. In fact, you have more freedom to speak as a U.S. senator or a House member than you do as the vice president, because you at the pleasure of the president. Because the president could have dropped. See, people don't understand. Some elite Democrats, Jermaine, went to Biden and said, take her off the ticket. She's a drag on the ticket. Find somebody else. The president can listen to everybody clearly. President Joe Biden could have said, Kamala, I'm replacing you from the ticket. And there was nothing that she could say or do because it's his choice.
That's crazy. And I want to talk, before I get off, I want to talk about, so as I'm sitting there watching TV and the Democratic convention ended, they had 10 people that CNN claimed were, what was the name of these people?
Commentators. Oh no, that was a focus group.
Yeah, the focus group. It
was 7 or 8 undecided.
Yeah, voters. Undecided people, right? So at the end, the last person was a black man, and the black man said, "Shit, I'm still voting for Trump." And the guy said, "Why? What made you say this, right?" And he said, "She spoke well. She sounded intelligent, or whatever he tried to say." He said, "But she ain't really lay out no policies." And this is the part that I feel like I said, they continue to keep harping on this. And this is the part that you told me about yesterday, is that because I keep hearing people say, but she still haven't put up policies up on the website, right? This is something that I see they keep talking about. And you told me yesterday she can't write her policies as of yet because she's still under the policies of Joe Biden. That's correct, right? I'm saying that, right?
Right. So here's the deal. Real quick, Vicky Dillard, you a lie. I wasn't fired by CNN. Nice try, because you ain't never been hired by CNN. So here's the whole deal here. I mean, I love people when they just lie, and they just lie, and she lying. So here's the whole deal here. When it comes to, again, so first of all, CNN screwed up. That guy, all he had to do was check his Twitter feed. He was a Trump supporter. He wasn't undecided. He got MAGA crap all over his social media feed. So that's a lie. It ain't no different than Fox News interviewing people by saying so-and-so is undecided. And there's a lie. They literally recycle people. So CNN needs to come out and admit that they screwed up by having that guy on. And then he said, well, she not ready. I'm sorry. Let me be clear. She's been a district attorney, state attorney general, a U.S. senator, and vice president for 4 years, but she ain't ready. Donald Trump had never served in public life in his life.
Never.
But he ready? Oh, wait a minute. J.D. Vance has only been a U.S. Senator for 2 years. He was elected in 2022. So, he ready? Get the fuck out of here. But see, again, this is a narrative that they're trying to frame to say, not ready, but she's absolutely ready. In fact, I'm about to hurt some of y'all feelings. Vice President Kamala Harris has more political experience right now than Obama did when he was elected. He was a state senator. He was a U.S. senator for 4 years, and then was elected president. So she's been DA, Attorney General, U.S. Senator, Vice President. That's a resume. But again, the Republican strategy is so what you heard, and what you're saying is, why don't y'all other commentators hit back? Why don't y'all listen? The position that I had when I was on CNN was I'm putting people in rhetorical body bags. I ain't letting nothing slide. We hitting everybody, every single thing. And in fact, somebody sent me this text and they right. Remember, Mike Pence refused to go along with Trump in a certification of the ballots, and Trump was going to let him get killed. Trump was going to let him get attacked. So everybody got to understand what's happening here, the political game. The right wants to frame her as being weak, ineffective, inexperienced. And what you're saying is you want to see folk on the left, progressives, fighting for her and hitting them back and pushing back on their BS.
Yeah, because I seen somebody just comment. They said my comment of me saying what she told me couldn't hurt her. And I'm like, no, I'm not.
That's a lie. God, every person, listen, people know the vice president is a limited position. I mean, it is. I mean, we all know that. The vice president normally, the joke has for decades has been the vice president does two things: cut ribbons and go to funerals. That's literally the joke of the vice president. In fact, there are a lot of people politically who never wanted to be vice president because they think it's a horrible job. If you're a governor, you're like one of 50. You control the state. I know some people say, you know what, I'd rather be governor than be vice president. So it's a thankless job. You really don't control your staff. You really don't control your policies. And you are working at the behest of whatever the agenda of the president and his advisors decide. So people don't understand, you don't have a lot of room. You can't do your own thing as vice president. Everything that you as vice president is under the auspices of the president. They decide in terms of what you do, where you go. If perfect example, Biden had that fundraiser in Los Angeles, it raised $30 million. I know for a fact, White House said, hey, VP, we need you to go to this conference in Europe. She literally, I was in Detroit with her. Bruh, I think it was that trip. She came home, landed, changed bags, and went back to the airport and flew to Europe for a conference. That decision was made that quick. When the Tennessee 3 got expelled, what happened there? It was a Thursday. White House was like, yo, when did you go to Tennessee? Next day, she in Tennessee. So you don't really control your movements or where you go. You do it in consultation, but really, the president's staff decides what the VP does.
All right, well, look, I'm in Vegas. I'm getting ready to go party. You know what I mean? It's the middle of the day.
I just finished my speech in New Orleans to a group here, so give me some gumbo.
I wanted you to come on so we can get this out of the way and people, you know what I mean, they can stop, you know what I mean, trolling me and try to drag me. What you said they was, whatever you said they was doing up to me on my page. You know what I mean? But I'm saying, anybody out there that don't understand this conversation, from this conversation that we just had, I feel sorry for you. You just a sad individual, because it's very apparent to me by CNN or whoever else that planted that black guy that they're trying to make the world believe that black men, such as myself, Roland, any other black man out there, are not with Kamala Harris. And I think that that's what a lot of y'all reacted to me doing. Y'all thought as a black man that that's what I was doing. That's not my stance. That's not my stance. That's not where I'm at. And I'm not part of that. And that's why I brought that guy up, because they showed him last deliberately.
Right.
They showed him last deliberately.
And I also want people out there to understand, y'all understand, when I saw it, I tweeted, Jermaine texted me, we talked last night. There are other celebrities who will hit me up, say, Ro, give me a breakdown on this here. So people need to understand, there are celebrities like Jermaine, Michael Bivins, Johnny Gill, and others who I've talked to. We communicate, we trade notes. Now, some other people out there, they just go off, like Waka Flocka hit me, was like, yo, we need to talk. I was like, yo, hit me. I ain't heard from him. So this is about, again, when I saw people's response, I saw the video, and I knew what he was saying, but I also knew how a couple of things sort of got meshed together and why people responded. So that's why I was like, yo, let's talk. So that's what this is all about. And I hope a lot of people got educated who didn't know about the stuff we just talked about. They got a better understanding of what the role is.
That's right. All right, my brother, thank you.
All right, brother.
All your time. All right.
We'll do it again.
Thank you for everybody that joined me. I hope y'all got what y'all needed to hear. I'm going to party.
All right.